Hey guys, welcome back to AlgoYogi. We are now doing array and hashing series. Our next problem in the list is Pascal's triangle. This is one of the ancient problem of LeetCode. Alright, so given an integer num rows, return the first num rows of Pascal's triangle. In Pascal's triangle, each number is the sum of the two numbers directly above it as shown. So you can understand, you have already understood what's being asked. Let's understand for our sake. Alright, so if we are given num rows as 5, then we need to return basically Pascal's triangle, which is going to be basically a 2D array. Although like this is the actual representation, this is how Pascal's triangle look like. It is going to have 1 2 3 4 5 rows, where each row, this row except the first one, is going, each value here is going to be the sum of previous two values. What does that mean? This is itself is going to be the same, so all these corners you can see these are going to be ones, but anything in the middle, but for the second row there is no place to calculate that value. But for the third row here, you have this space and it's going to be the sum of these two numbers. So these two sum together and then give us 2. So if I write it, so these two sum up together to give us this 2, and then these two sum up together to give 3, these two sum together to give 3, and then 3 and 1 give us 4, 3 give us 6, and 3 and 1 give us 4. Well, just you must have noticed these corners are going to be all ones. So how do we calculate it? It seems like we understand it, but how are we going to implement it in the code? Well, our answer would look like something like a 2D array. So our answer would look something like this. So 1, and then here we'll have 1 and 2, sorry, not 2, 1 1, right? And then 1 2 and 1. So remember, this 2D array we are actually going to return, and then we're again going to have 1 3 3 and 1, and then finally we'll have our fifth row, which is going to be 1 4 6 4 and 1. Alright, so this will be my answer. I just need to build this. Using that number that's given to me, num rows number that's given to me. This is what I'm going to build. So how will I do it is initially I will have my answer as not empty, like I think initial value is 1, and that's something that we'll have to declare ourselves. So answer in the beginning, this 2D array, we will have this rest all these rows we can calculate and append that. So what I'll do is I will run a for loop from for I in range, and that we can do since we need to calculate 4 more rows. So we can start at 1 and then go up to basically this num rows. Let's say this is n. Alright, this is n. Then here what I need here is like the previous row, because I will use previous row to calculate it, right? Calculate my next row. So for next row I can say next row, it's going to be of size 1 more than the previous row. So what I'll do is initially I'll just put all the ones in there. So 1 would be multiplied by length previous row plus 1. So that will be my next row, and let's fill this next row. And for filling this next row, what I'll be going is for j, let's say j in range, I'll start with 1 because these are going to be same, and the last are going to be same. So I'll go from 1 till second last position. So that will be length of next row minus 1. That's it. All right, now you can see, and here I will calculate that value. So I can say val, and this value would be, I will be getting for my next rows, and I think I'm just filling it into my I can directly fill it. So I can directly say this next row at the jth position is going to be the sum of my previous row at j and previous row at j minus 1. So j minus 1. So this is what I have written so that you can see all of it. So this is what's going to be in my next. And then finally, once this row is ready, once this is ready, I can append that to my answer. So here, after this for loop, inside this for loop right here, like right here, I will add that to my answer. So answer dot append, and I will append basically next row. Right? It's very simple, quite really simple. So that will be all. For space and time complexity, let's talk about it. What we are really doing, we are computing basically, if n is 5 in this case, we are computing basically 25. How many values are we computing? Let's just count it, because we can. So let's go 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15. We are counting 15. But what's really happening is, we know that we were going from calculating one position till we are calculating. So this is, we are calculating 1, then we are calculating 2, then 3, then 4, and then 5. So we are going from 1 to so 1 plus 2 plus plus n minus 1, or I think n, we can just say n, and the sum of this is n into n minus 1 by 2, which gives us n square. You can say n square minus n by 2, which we don't care about anything else except this n square. So time complexity is going to be n square. All right, it's going to be n square. And then for space complexity is also going to be n square, because we are storing it into this 2D array of size n into n. All right, so let's implement this solution. Really straightforward. You will be surprised how easy it was to write. I'm just kidding. All the problems are easy. So let's calculate answer. Initially going to contain one value. Then we are gonna go for I in range from already one calculated. So from 1 to n. What is n? Is num rows. All right, so here I'm going to get the previous row. So previous row would be, I would just say prev row is going to be from my answer. I can just get it with -1 index. It will give me the previous row. So here what I want to do is calculate the next row. Next row would be, let's maintain the same style of variable naming. So next row would be of size, I'm gonna put all ones here, or it's going to be of size length prev row plus 1, because length increases as we go forward by 1. Now we're gonna fill this. We're going to fill this, and here we didn't really have to do anything. Honestly, we didn't really have to do anything. We are gonna go num rows minus 1 times, because we have already calculated it once. So here what I'll do is what I'll do is for j in range, I'm gonna start at 1. I'm gonna go till length new row -1, because the last position is also going to be 1. So here, this new value that I'm gonna calculate, I will assign to my next row. So next row at jth position is going to be what I get from the previous row at j -1 and j, pre-row and j. We have already understood why this works, right? So what we are really doing is that this pre-row is coming from here. So if you see these values combining together, so let's say if this, we are calculating this two, then its prev j would be this value, right? Because it's at second index. So this is going to be the second index in row previous to, the previous to this row, current row. So next row's previous row is going to be this one. So that's why this will be j and this will be j -1. So we are combining them together for the next jth value, which is again second index, right? Finally, once we come out of this for loop, we'll append that to my answer. So answer dot append, and we are appending next row here. And then finally we can return the answer. So let's run it on our example cases. And of course, this is not new row, this is next row. Awesome, let's submit. Crazy, bro, crazy. All right, so time, oh my god, time complexity is gonna be, we already talked about it, n square, and space complexity is also going to be big of n square. Awesome. Let us go back to AlgoYogi, mark this problem solved. See you guys later in the next problem.